4 is going to be Kentucky, Wisconsin, and then Duke and Michigan State. Duke is going to beat Michigan State. I think Wisconsin's got a shot against Kentucky. I think Kentucky will win. And I have Kentucky beating Duke 77-70. I am surprised by how many people just think there's nothing good that comes out of one and dones. And it should be duly noted that not all the Kentucky players are freshmen. There are a couple of sophomores, the Harrison twins. There's a junior. They have canceled senior night at Kentucky, but there are underclassmen on this team. But I am amazed by how many people are people that cover college basketball. This one and done is terrible. No, it's not. The same media people saying that, like the same media people that criticize Lane Kiffin for leaving Tennessee after a year, the same phonies are on message boards wanting Brian Kelly out at Notre Dame after a year. Fans are phonies when it comes to this. I mean, I love fans, but they can be complete hypocrites. Fans want to run Steve Sarkisian out at USC. He won 9 games in his first year with 8 true freshmen starting. It's the most wins ever for a first-year USC coach. And you got fans that are like calling, but yet if he left, you would be outraged. So which is it? You know, you're the guy that wants to fool around on your wife in the first year of marriage, but if she left you, you'd call her all sorts of names. Bunch of phonies. So if you want to know why coaches hop and jump and bounce from program to program, because go to your message board 1 hour. Go to your message board, your local bucknuts.com, Tighter Insider. You're trying to run guys out in a rail 5 games into their career, and you wonder why they want to bounce and go to other programs. God, Gene Chizik won a national title at Auburn. 2 hours later, he was out of work. Mark Ricks won 10 games a year at Georgia forever, and half the fans want him gone. So, you know, and I just don't understand all this one and done stuff. The same media banging on one and done are the same guys that in the newspaper industry would jump to another newspaper in an hour if any of them were still viable. Like in my business, radio and TV people have always bounced around. That's because there's a lot of radio and TV stations. There's just not many newspapers around anymore. So you get the job you have, you get your pension. It's the best you can hope for. But I see so many, you know, I mean, I'm the first person I've always said I'm conditionally loyal. I'm loyal to my kids. But, you know, I look all the time for opportunities here at ESPN and elsewhere. You should too. It's not that I don't love the company, but the world's changing and you have to, I mean, good Lord, I used to do local television sports. That's done. Every job I've had is evaporated. Seriously. AM radio's the next. You know, so every job I've ever had, the industry dies. So I've had to be on my toes looking. Well, Kentucky basketball players, they go to Kentucky. Shouldn't they be looking? They're looking for the next opportunity. I don't understand it. I really don't. I just see the world differently, I guess. I just do not understand. We would tell kids to leave Stanford early to go create a new company, and that company, even with good angel investors, would probably tank. But if a black kid goes and plays hoops and leaves, it's somehow it's the problem with the NCAA is the NCAA and unethical coaches and administrators. It's not the kid. The kid's not the problem with the sport. I don't understand. There's part of America I don't get. Tell me where I'm wrong. Kentucky is the most watched and interesting team in the tournament. And the kids play hard, and they play defense, and they pass, and they're selfless. They go to class. They have class. What's wrong with that? I don't get it. It's not the star prize basketball pupil's job to keep college basketball popular. That's college basketball's job. Steve, you're in the herd. Go ahead.
Yeah, Colin, I agree. I don't get it either. First of all, there's other kids that play athletics that leave. I mean, Jordan Spieth is a great example. He was one and done. He was 19. He left to Texas. He went to play pro golf. You hear nothing about it. Tennis players, they don't hardly go to high school or college because they're playing so young. I mean, it happens all the time. And I don't get what the interest is of people that they are one and done. Are they saying they're not, getting the education they need for society, or are they saying, it's hurting the sport? To me, there's many, many of kids who go to college 1 year and go, man, either I party too much or this is just not for me. And then they drop out of college.
Right.
I mean, it happens all the time. It's not just these kids. And, I don't know what they're worried about. I guess that's my thing. What are these people worried about with these kids?
Steve, it's really funny. Do you realize, Steve, I'll give you a guess. What percentage of Major League Baseball players have a college degree, Steve? Guess.
Oh, well, you got a lot of Dominicans. I mean, a lot of people from other countries. So I don't know, but I guess it's pretty low. I don't know.
3%.
3%.
So, okay, 3. So now a lot of it is Dominican. A lot of it is because to make the bigs, you have to go into travel baseball, and you don't have time to do travel baseball and get a college degree. So the point is, why is it that nobody makes a big deal out of white baseball players who basically, because of drecky travel baseball, never even go to college? But if a college basketball player does and goes for 2 years, somehow he is a fringe American and he is hurting sports. Baseball basically is overwhelming Dominican and white kids. And they don't get college degrees because to be great in baseball, you got to play a lot, be in summer leagues, be in youth leagues. You don't go to college. The lowest percentage of college graduates is not hockey, is not basketball, is not football. It's baseball by a mile. Why isn't that a story? Why isn't travel baseball somehow socioeconomically getting in the way of aspirational, educational opportunities? Who cares? They're pursuing a dream. I mean, it's just kids are pursuing a dream. Go for it, kids. It's awesome. And I think the Kentucky kids are good kids. They're good kids. God, they can all average 20 a game, and they're all team players. How do you watch? What's the difference between watching Wisconsin and watching Kentucky? It's the same team. Getting in the way of aspirational, educational opportunities. Who cares? They're pursuing a dream. I mean, it's just kids are pursuing a dream. Go for it, kids. It's awesome. And I think the Kentucky kids are good kids. They're good kids. God, they can all average 20 a game, and they're all team players. How do you watch? What's the difference between watching Wisconsin and watching Kentucky? It's the same team. They bust their tail. They've got some offensive limitations. There's 1 or 2 stars for each. They're the same teams. I mean, it's the same basic principle. Play really, really, really good defense, and offensively, get the ball to the really good player. Frank the Tank or the Towns kid? Rich, you're in the herd. Go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of just want to back you up, and I think that we as a society and schools need to change up a little bit because as a college student, I had to take philosophy and anatomy and everything in my first year. I think for these student athletes, if we want to go student with it, we need to change it up, and we need to go like money management 101 or how to talk to the media or how to interview and hire people. So when they do leave after a year, they've actually put something in place that can help them when they start their pro career. Because if they get into basketball, they need to back them up with the schooling and give them the chance to take their own electives that's going to help them. I just think we need to jump on board and start supporting them instead of complaining about it.
Yeah, Rich, it's very interesting you say that. I think that's really, really interesting. Is that if these college basketball players to Kentucky had classes that helped them, like money management, it's a great point. My wife talks about this all the time. What you should really have in American high schools now, honestly, is almost like college, like majors. Like, what do you want to do? High schools, geography, who gives a rip? You should literally have computer science classes mandatory, language classes mandatory. You should you got to take Spanish. You got to take computer science and because that's the future of the country. Half the classes in high school are a waste of time. You should have to take a real estate class. Do you understand how titles and mortgages work? Because you're going to own a home, money, financial management classes. I mean, changing the curriculum, I am completely for. We're just living in an outdated world. That's why I've never had a problem with culinary school, vocational schools. If you know what you want to do at 17 and you want to play guitar, brother, go chase it. If it's 15 years old, you want to be the next Anthony Bourdain, go to a culinary school. Why would you go to college? What in the world is the University of Vermont going to do for you? Dude, yeah, smoke out. But truthfully, go to a culinary school. Who do I got on? I forgot. Oh, it's Chris Broussard's coming up.